Yo, what's going on? Yeah. Billboard breakdown. How 100 July 26, 2025. Swag. Let God sort them out. Jackboys 2 and Jump. Now, I know I said I wasn't gonna stop reacting to all the Billboard breakdowns, but this is an interesting week. You know, you got a lot of shit happening, so might as well. I was like, okay, it's probably better to have a Billboard breakdown for this. So yeah, let's go.
Hey there, I'm Mark, in affiliation with Spectrum Pulse, and we got Justin Bieber, Travis Scott, and Clips, and this it's Billboard breakdown. It just would be the week where I move when we got the sort of wide-ranging album impact that makes episodes like this difficult to handle. A triple album bomb, partially from Clips, partially from Travis Scott, and most of all from Justin Bieber. Now, truthfully, all three album impacts fall within album bomb territory for me, and given that I've already formally reviewed 2 out of the 3 main projects on my main channel, this might wind up a bit more condensed than how long this could otherwise have been, but make no mistake, it's probably still going to take a while. You have been warned. But you want to know what's kind of funny? Amidst all this, when we go to our top 10, Ordinary by Alex Warren is still at number 1. And in this case, that does make me laugh that all the fan bases are coming out of the woodwork to accuse Alex Warren of botting streams or using all of the gimmicks that all of their own favorite artists also use in earnest. It's a bad and often rigged game. I've gone on about this for years. But the truth is that Ordinary is about as conventionally strong of a hit as you can get. It's dominant on sales, my love, and it continues to gain on the radio while at the top spot.
Hey,
its margin
you guys think like, you think anybody like hops in the car with their friend or like, hey, put on that Ordinary?
To every other song there is
I would love to see that.
So okay, let's do the comparison.
Yeah, you already know. Put that Ordinary on.
Debuted this week at number 2 with great sales and the top streaming position, and the radio push has started, but there's no serious muscle in that department. It was gonna have to beat Warren on a streaming margin or sales, and it didn't happen, which is exactly what happened to Drake last week as well. You can argue that a relatively weak number 1 like Ordinary should be beatable, but we're dealing with a diminished Drake and a rushed Justin Bieber album rollout for Swag with no music video in place for Daisies. You don't just get the top spot on Birthright. It takes work and preparation. Bieber still landing this high.
Some of these big artists need to fucking realize that, like, it's okay to have a normal rollout. You know what I'm saying? And I'm also looking at Taylor Swift. Okay, I would love to see a lead single Taylor Swift rollout, okay? Because you already know that shit will be fire. I'm just saying, you know, instead of just chucking the fucking album out there, like, do some singles, you know, have like an actual fucking rollout instead of, the mysterious this album will come out at midnight randomly. Like it's just kind of boring, you know. I kind of miss, you know, the fucking 3 single, you know, what Sabrina Carpenter did. I like that, you know. I don't even really care for Sabrina Carpenter, you know. She has some good music, but like I liked her little rollout that she did and all the stuff, all the little stunts that she did. I like that. But no, Justin Bieber is gonna be like, actually, guys, well, here's like a fucking 5-hour pre-notification. Yeah, the album's coming out at midnight and I have no videos ready. Like, it's just kind of boring. I don't know.
Handily overtook
that might just be my opinion.
By Morgan Wallen and Tate McRae at number 3. Rock solid streaming.
Even Morgan Wallen, like people were asking like Morgan Wallen. Oh yeah, how is Morgan Wallen, you know, so big? I feel like cause the fucking rollout that he does. You know, like he had 30 songs on that album, okay, but he put out like 7 singles before. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
But the radio's still not moving.
But, I mean, Morgan Wallen is Morgan Wallen, so
because there's so many other Morgan.
He could fucking put out a album randomly and he'd get all the fucking spots. So.
on songs in circulation. Compare this to Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters rising to number 4. Similar case to Bieber in the huge sales and streams, but the growth has just felt a bit more consistent, even if the radio is still barely touching it. And yet it was enough to get over Just In Case by Morgan Wallen at number 5, mostly because of a sharp streaming decline and peaking on the radio, and yet it was still enough to hold over a bar song Tipsy by Shabuzi at number 6 with an even sharper streaming loss, though it did have a weirdly decent radio week. But now we got another new arrival in the top 10 with a long, slow run up the charts, Love Me Not by Raven Lenae at number 7. This is just a case where the radio adores this song, even if the streaming isn't great and the sales aren't there at all. You can call it a sleeper hit, but at least it worked. Hell, it was enough to hold over What Did I Miss by Drake down at number 8. Very telling that he thought this song was going to have legs going into a triple album bomb week, especially
and I'm fucking telling you, that new Drake single is fucking ass and is not going to do what. If that new Drake single, which one, whatever was Central, if that song does good, I will be so shocked. Like, I will literally have a heart attack or something. Like, I'll be so shocked because that song is actual ass. I'm not even trolling. That song is actually terrible. At least What Did I Miss is like okay, you know, this is like a cool lead single, I guess, and like nothing really special. But that Central C song, that shit is ass. I'm sorry.
That happens, and the radio just is not kicking into full gear, and the sales aren't really there. You are not going to make that run. And then we have to sadly end with 2 songs that just aren't moving at all, as much as I might want them to. Lose Control by Teddy Swim, still at number 9, which has enough streaming to make up for a weirdly inconsistent radio week, and Die With A Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, which might have more radio despite being in decline, but the streaming is far worse. I can see this falling off even faster. And that will naturally take us to our losers and our dropouts this week, and oh boy, we got a lot of both. And given that 2025 has been such a stagnant year for the Hot 100, I really had no problem knocking out some of the massive former hits that have lost their luster. Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter.
Good.
That's So True by Gracie Abrams.
Good.
Timeless by The Weeknd and Playboy Cardi. Messy by Leslie Young. And No One Noticed by the Marias. They're all going to make the year-end list for 2025, but they had respectable runs, and that all probably went longer than they should have. But what about the songs that were cut short? Well, honestly, I'm not exactly complaining about any of those here either, because if that group comprises Dark Thoughts by Lil Tecca, Azazem by Ed Sheeran, I'm a Little Crazy, and Dark Till Daylight.
Dark Thoughts didn't make it? That's kind of crazy, no? I feel like, no, that is going to get back on the charts.
Morgan Wallen, Typa by Glorilla, and Revolving Door by Tate McRae.
No, Revolving Door
really
should
losing that much.
That should be your end, surely, right?
We actually don't have a ton of losers because the Hot 100 has been so paralyzed with inertia. Off the debut, the only song that lost traction and stayed on the chart was River Washed Hair by Zach Bryan at 75. The only gain falling back was Bottle Rockets by Scotty McCreery
falling
and Hootie the Blowfish at 77. The only return collapsing is Nueva Yol by Bad Bunny at 96. Might as well throw in EO as well at 97. And the only continued losers are Outside by Cardi B at 61. Again, really bad sign for that album rollout. And 20 Cigarettes by Morgan Wallen at 60. And while we've got him, Love Somebody fell to 48, I Ain't Coming Back with Post Malone hit 67, Superman's at 71, and TN at 91. And really, country music as a whole took a body blow this week, but at least positionally. Weren't for the Wind by Ella Langley at 45, 6 Months Later by Megan Maroney at 58, Amen by Shabuzi and Jelly Roll at 69, Indigo by Sam Barber and Avery Anna at 73, really should have been pushed off the Hot 100, same with Wildflower by Billie Eilish at 66, and Hard Fought Hallelujah by Brandon Lake at 88. But what are your recurrency rules anymore? But back to country losses. Fix What You Didn't Break by Nate Smith hit 80. House Again by Hudson Westbrook at 82. I might as well throw in Marlboro Rojo by Fuerza Regida at 100. It's close enough to the genre. Ish. Finally, the rest. Nokia by Drake at 31, Anxiety by Doechii at 39, Apartment by Rose and Bruno Mars at 40, 30 for 30
God, all
by
those songs
SZA
are so
and
annoying.
Lamar
Oh my God.
46, Just Keep Watching by Tate McRae, Your Way's Better by Forrest Frank at 87, Whim Whammy by Pluto and YK Nice at 89, Party For You by Charlie XCX at 94, Twilight Zone by Ariana Grande at 98, and Rather Lie by Playboi Carti in The Weeknd at 99.
I don't care about any of those songs.
Returns and gains. What actually beat back the tide? Well, it was pretty much just Soda Pop from K-pop Demon Hunters rising to 25. There were no returns. But this is where we're going to be talking about 3 album bombs, where from Clips and Travis Scott, they are in the smaller category, so it's the best, the worst, and the top 40, and for Justin Bieber, the bigger group. The best, the worst, and those in the top 20. It still gives us a ridiculous amount of material to cover, but let's start with all the Bieber songs I'm not talking about. All I Can Take at 21, Way It Is with Gunna at 33, Things You Do at 35, Walking Away at 37, Butterflies at 49.
I feel like this album, it started off like good. I thought this album started off good, and then like by the end, I was just so done with it.
Devotion with Dijon at 56, Sweet Spot with Sexy Red at 57. First
oh my God,
59.
Sweet Spot, bro, Sexy Red fucking ruined the shit out of that song. Oh my God.
Perilously close to the bottom tier. I just hate the drum mixing on this thing, and Justin Bieber's got no clue what something being on site means. Swag with Cash Cobain and Eddie Benjamin at 70, Too Long at 79, Glory Voice Memo at 83, 405 at 86. And Dad's Love with Lil B at 84. In the year 2025, Lil B's hit the Hot 100. Tell someone that 15 years ago would have blown their mind. Then there's the Travis Scott songs, where none of them made the top 40. Ah, shucks, what a disappointment. Which leaves us with Shine.
He does not give a
fuck. Just sings the
fuck.
entire song. 2000 Excursion with Sheck West and Don Toliver at 72. Very nearly making all the bottom spots for crapping all over Kanye West's Power. Champagne and Vacay with Don Toliver at 53. The shot taken at Pusha T there is so inconsequential, it's not even worth examining at length, especially when the song gets any sort of energy from Waka Flocka Flame's ad-libs that remind me a bit too much of 6ix9ine, and Kick Out at 50. Then there's the clip songs. Yeah, I gotta be honest, none of them made the top 40 either, but outside of top contenders, we got Mike Tyson Blow to the Face, Ace Trumpets at 78, POV with Tyler the Creator at 65, a lot more to talk about him next week, but his verse stole the show from me there, and Soviet at 62. Yeah, I'm just nowhere near as much of a fan of that one as many people are. The production gives me mid-2000s Scott Storch vibes. It just doesn't land as sharply for me. But now for a thankfully reduced list of new arrivals, which may still run long. Number 92, The Birds Don't Sing by Clips, featuring John Legend and Voices of Fire. It's ballsy that Clips started off their album with this song, and it's provoked some mixed responses, because it's heavy, a damn near a tearjerker with John Legend handling the hook, as Pusha T and Malice reminisce about the loss of their parents. Push speaking about his mother's death and the profound guilt that he feels that he wasn't around enough, or that had his mind was occupied with other things, as his mom had tried to keep the family together and didn't exactly succeed. I heard what I wanted to hear, but didn't listen, which feels apropos when the reference to Kanye West and Elon Musk shows the very bad path that he was on that took him away from his family, especially as it breaks his heart to know that his son won't know his grandmother. And Malice's verse cuts in a very different way, speaking about how his father gave him both the discipline and the life lessons to work hard and succeed, but also the permission to rap again. And when his father found Malice's drugs, it broke his heart, yet he never gave up on him or Push, with the password on all of his old devices being, "I love my 2 sons." Then there's no relief granted here. It's pain, it's grief, pure and simple, set against the spare pianos until the oily grind of the synths slide in, and that gospel-inflected hook just soars. It might be bleak, but it raises the stakes of what's required to come back to this. It's somber but righteous. And yeah, absolutely excellent song. So compare that to number 74, Where Was You?
Hey, I kind of like
Travis
this
Scott, one. Playboi Carti, and Future.
I didn't really care for Future's verse, but like I thought this wasn't very bad.
Oh look, another collab between Future and Travis Scott where you got Playboi Carti on the hook. Haven't seen that before, especially when you can't expect any of them will have anything new to say. Cause believe me, you do not want the closer examination of the text here, because if Travis Scott is trying to pull in some level of paranoia of who he can trust around him, where was those people near his beginning run, maybe just don't be such a clout chasing click hopper. You keep proving everything Push said about you is true, and this is not changing that. But that would also imply the song is doing anything beyond the usual bad sex references and brand name porn, with Future wanting to fuck a lesbian with barely any energy as it sounds like his voice is fried, and Playboi Carti is smothered in ugly auto-tune in his creaking nasal register that has no power to it. But I think it's the production that really annoys me here the most. Filthy's mastering is routinely really shoddy, with the bass and the vocals frequently clipping the mix, but that plucky melody doesn't form any coherent pocket, and the more it stumbles before the muddy synthesizers come
I don't know, I like
the
the low plucking melody.
But what I think's probably worst about all this is how rote it feels. If your feature list is already becoming an already overused Twitter meme for a song that's got nothing to it,
right,
I'm sorry, I got no reason to care. This
mandated Playboi Carti
Number
feature.
68, In Your Fantasy by A Tease.
The song, first of all, the song is just, well, the video is just the aura farm. Like, look, if I were this fucking like sexy and beautiful, bro, I would aura farm all the time. I would do the same shit these guys are doing, right? Also, this song kind of reminds me of Sexy Back.
Okay, I find it interesting. The only two songs that debuted this week that weren't from the album bombs are both
K-pop songs.
And given that we're starting with A Tease, I don't exactly have the highest expectation given Lemon Drop from a couple weeks ago. And honestly, I might have sold them a bit short, because the production here works considerably better with the buzzy grind of the synth and the shuffling patter of the groove. It reminds me a lot of mid-2000s Timbaland with slightly more basic percussion, and that's a sound that nails some of that future sex swagger the group wants to try and pull off, especially as the lyrics are leaning into that transgressive darkness of being some sort of incubus that's drawing their target in, bringing out that sex demon within for this partner. Now, do I think they make the most of the quasi-devilish approach here? Not really. You give these lyrics to Justin Timberlake 20 years ago and not much would change. It wouldn't even be that transgressive. But I do appreciate each singer having more aggressive flair, a little bit more vocal character that the production doesn't crush underneath. So yeah, maybe it's more of a nostalgic throwback for me, kinda like Lemon Drop in that regard if we're being honest. But I think it lands. Pretty good song. Number 54,
that's not terrible.
Dumbo by Travis Scott.
I bet you going dumb. I bet you going dumb. Straight up. I bet you going dumb. I bet you going dumb.
Track here, and again, where the production's the biggest culprit for nothing coming together. The bass smothering and clipping the mix, an eerie melody that leads into these annoyingly shrill bleeps, a refrain that is a naked Drake ripoff, and it could have been tolerable if any of it was developed well, and Travis's flow that might have some kinetic bounce if he wasn't nakedly cribbing notes from Migos and Playboi Carti, and of course he's got nothing new to say. But you know what? That's not new from Travis. He's got some girl that he's cheating with who sneezes when she sniffs coke, where he doesn't trust her because apparently she was using him, but also seems to have caught feelings along the way, where he seems more interested in her exploding ass, letting her clothes fall off around her waistline, and if she gets high, not to kill his vibe, and his car having a kit like a BBL. Not only does it not feel new, it's vacant, it's incoherent amidst the rest of the drug abuse and hedonism. I'm not expecting him to be lyrical. It's Travis Scott, although Clips again proves you can absolutely brag better than this. But when the production's so bad and I'm not remotely impressed by any lingering charisma Travis has, none of this feels worth my time. I mean, this would suck irregardless of what's placed in contrast to it, but when we got this, number 42, Chains and Whips by Clips featuring Kendrick Lamar.
Choke my neck, nigga, and ice my bitch. Beat the
pretty good.
With chains and whips.
This is culturally inappropriate.
Look, it goes hard, but I don't know. Just like it goes hard, 100%. It goes hard, but like I don't know. Like I'm not I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna pull the XQC. I'm not a lyrical dude. I don't really look. Actually, no, I'm not gonna pull it. Fuck XQC, by the way, for that clip. That clip is actually like maximum brain dead, right? But personally, for me, in my opinion, in my preference, I don't really care for like more lyrical type stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying that this is like all lyrical. Like I think this has like good production. I like the beat. I like the vibe. I kind of, you know, video's great too. But like I don't know, it's just not for me. I wouldn't personally bump this. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that lyrics don't matter and you should go read a book. Okay, that shit is max like stupid. But personally, in my opinion, in my preference, I wouldn't listen to something like this. You know, I'm just saying. Not my cup of tea.
I've been looking forward to this song for years. I remember hearing the fashion show video sample of it back in 2023 and getting really excited. I love the production and the flow and the hook that much. The echoing simmer of the guitar against the sharp rhythmic knock of the beat with the curdled organs and that swaggering blues bass line. Pharrell's haunted post-chorus outro and Pusha T's venom on that hook and first verse is fantastic. I don't have a New York bias. I have no illusions that Pusha T was gonna dismantle Jim Jones, and he absolutely does so here, targeting the lack of honor amongst veterans in hip-hop to play clout games, when Pusha T can not only win in that arena, but also notices how Jim was chasing the Drake verse, who Push already definitively beat. I will close your heaven for the hell of it is a fucking insane line. I love it. But that's also the thing. As Malice highlights, it's not just about the brands or the money. They recognize how poisonous that game is and how they may be damned for playing it. So his verse is soaked in darkness for how macabre it can get and the inevitable death that will come playing that game. And yeah, all of that would be enough to get this high on any of my list. Then Kendrick Lamar shows up. Apparently this was the verse that spurred Def Jam to drop clips and for them to get over to Rock Nation. And it's paradoxically easy and kind of hard to grasp.
Hey, all of everybody watching this, we don't fuck with Rock Nation, right, guys? Right? Fuck Rock Nation. We don't rock with them. You know what I'm saying? We don't like Rock Nation around here. Everybody in the comments, put fuck Rock Nation all over your social media. Okay, fuck Rock Nation, guys.
Why?
Just get rid of them. Get rid of them.
This last year between Euphoria and Not Like Us. So I hear the energy, and it's not hard to grasp where the context to where his own murderous headspace was. But there's no explicit Drake diss beyond claiming industry dominance. And even then, it gets layered. The Jen rhyme scheme over the second half of the verse is stellar. It's loaded with potential shots and references that I thought were pretty deep, worthy of the Rakim shoutout. But again, Kendrick's not leaving culture as his primary focus, where therapy enabled him to both open up and dispense with any scruples in clearing out the trash. And given that Clips has actually pushed this as a single with a video and it's got strong streaming already, yeah, okay, I'll call it easy. This is my favorite song on that album, and it's one of the best songs to chart in 2025.
Damn.
Fantastic song. Give this a proper chance. Number 28, Jump by Blackpink.
Well, I mean, it's personally not for me, but like compared to like all the other songs like that, it's probably the best song. Well, so far. Yeah, the media. I'm sorry, but like, bro, this is like, bro, people actually like this shit. It's kind of crazy.
Straight. 3 out of the 4 members of Blackpink have effectively launched solo plus charting careers with tangible hits of varying quality, so now you get them back together for a bouncy, dance-inspired girl group song that barely even reflects what they did before the solo adventures except for the genre pile-up mess? I'll start with the obvious. If you're gonna call the song Jump, but you predominantly say that word in Korean with no real intensity on the hook, I'm not sure it's as effective on a predominantly English track. But the more distracting problem here is with a bunch of trance synthesizers and an admittedly better produced galloping beat, except for when they go for this sort of trap post-chorus breakdown, because, of course, this is Blackpink, where coherent song structures go to die. Well, it's pushing towards this oddly minimalist and somewhat streamlined tone, where Blackpink used to deliver way more explosive presence and dominance, especially when a song itself feels so abortive and it ends so abruptly. Now, I don't really consider all this a bad thing, believe it or not. The backing reverb guitar phrase that feeds into that spooky pre-chorus voice actually gives the song a little bit more flavor, and the production isn't nearly as overmixed and compressed and overexposed as they can be. But then we get to the lyrics, which are honestly kind of a wash, and the girl power flexing towards the dance floor that Blackpink have been hitting their entire career, and they really don't make use of any of the different directions that all four have gone in since 2022. Ironically, all the time spent apart appears to have only delivered some production polish and a sound that they haven't really done before coming together. It honestly lands better than you would expect. Go figure with that. Number 18, Go Baby by Justin Bieber. Man, ending this with 3 Justin Bieber songs doesn't have a lot of spark to it, especially when they're very obviously trying to emulate tracks that I'd rather hear from someone with a personality. And that's the frustrating thing with this. The watery late 80s synths around the blocky drums supporting a track where he's trying to convince his girl to let go, cry on his shoulder as he supports her, all that's fine. I even appreciate the pre-chorus acknowledging that nothing has to work out in this moment. It could just be a pure rush of emotion, even if the repetitive Go Baby on the hook feels like an awkward sentiment in order to follow that. The problem is Justin Bieber. I don't get any tenderness from his nasal compressed crooning, not helped by the song opening with the line, "That's my baby, she's iconic, iPhone case, lip gloss on it." Romantic, right? I don't know, if you give it to a better R&B singer,
how romantic.
I don't think it'd be great, but it could be much better. But while we're on that subject, number 17, Yukon by Justin Bieber.
What would I do?
It was recorded with the shittiest cell phone gear until the fluttery Spanish guitar slips in, and 2 Chainz drawling "yeah" all over the hook doesn't exactly improve the vibe. Then we got the first verse. I pull up like Jimmy Neutron, I can help you get a move on like U-Haul. If you're trying to do this sort of sophisticated slow burn sex jam that
I love U-Haul, man.
W-U-Haul. Or even Ed Sheeran, those lines will destroy any attempted atmosphere. They come across as painfully juvenile, made all the worse for when the majority of the song, Justin Bieber's voice is pitched up. It's not quite chipmunk vocals, it makes him sound a lot younger, and it's a lot closer to chipmunk than it should be. It really highlights a track that feels stitched together from ideas without the coherence to put them together well. It sounds like a bad demo, and a sloppy one at that. So no, I actually think it's pretty bad. Not the worst thing on Swag when the Drewski interludes exist, but it is lousy. So do you want to hear something better? Well, finally, number 2, Daisy.
This is probably my favorite of the week. Like, it's nothing special, but like, it's like it's a nice, like, little wholesome song, you know?
So there's 2 ways to think about this. The first being that it's easily the best song on Swag, and some of that does come down to Justin Bieber, even if he is, again, the weakest part of the track. One of the emotions he succeeded at conveying across his career is confusion at mixed signals, and that's kind of the central idea of the song. He's trying to pin down whether or not this girl likes him, he's willing to wait. But as the drums and guitars pick up a little bit more simmer, you can tell that his impatience is actually bubbling up. Kind of feels like the gender-inverted Love Me Not by Raven Lenae, and that's not a bad thing, even has some similar metaphors. And I actually really like the warmer tone and rougher groove of the song. There's a burnished rollick to it that's got a lot of charm, especially in and around R&B, but on the other hand, that's basically a factor of his producer, McG, who shows up for a single song on this album, basically making it his own. So it places the track in a bit of an odd space of who gets credit, but I think getting bogged down in that might be missing the point, especially as it's rare for a pop star's best song on the album not obviously being pushed as the single to chart the highest. So if it sticks around, you know, I'm gonna be okay with that. Good track.
Me too.
I guess someone got something right for once. And that's our week. Unsurprisingly, the best and worst follow very quickly, with both of the latter coming from Travis Scott, with Dumbo taking the bottom, and Where Was You with Future and Playboi Carti as the obvious dishonorable mention. And the best, unsurprisingly, they're going to Clips. Chains and Whips with Kendrick Lamar gets the top spot, although not quite running away with it as much as I love the song, because The Birds Don't Sing with John Legend is the honorable mention. Yeah, they're close together. Next week, I was expecting it to be quiet, but Tyler, the Creator, snuck an entire album out. It's bound to do well. Stay tuned for that. But until then, I'm Mark. You're watching Billboard Breakdown.
Alright, guys. What do you think of this week? Pretty good? It's pretty alright. And I'm gonna lie to you, you know? Clip sets, some cool stuff. Travis Scott. K-pop, Justin Bieber, Daisies is good. The rest, I don't know. That's kind of mid. I can't lie to you. But yeah, put your favorite new arrival down in the comments below. Go subscribe to Billboard Breakdown. Go subscribe to Spectrum Pulse. Subscribe to me. Like this video. Like the original video. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.